Good morning. This morning is a documentation note as I revisit some old fun things that I've learned in the past, and I'm learning them again from this new perspective and this new emotional, physiological openness. Um, it's kind of like it's raising a puppy. So I'm fostering for Daisy's place, and I have a beautiful shepherd mix puppy. I believe she's about 8 weeks old. So she was rescued from the reserve nearby, and she's just lovely. She was missing her sister yesterday, and she had to be moved from where she was being fostered just because family circumstances changed. And so now she's with me, and she learns so fast. And she's just such a great energy, such a willing energy. So I hope she'll get to stay with me for a little bit longer so that she can get that big confidence that she needs as she moves into her new home. But overall, it's really beautiful. I took a course with my puppy Tito when I adopted him, and in 2020, or I guess I adopted him in 2019, but we did the course training as he was old enough as a puppy, and it's just amazing to me because she was found with her sister without a home. And so it's amazing to me how much of the natural instincts of communication energetically are preserved when humans don't intervene. Like I can use just sound and voice without words to tell her I don't want her to do something before she does it, or before I speak the words. And so by the time she knows the word, it's already understood that that wasn't a desirable thing. Like she was so cute earlier, pouncing around and playing with her toys, and she was pouncing on my cushion, which is a very important cushion to me. It's not just like a footstool, but it's a memory piece for me. And so I keep it here in my energy to keep grounded in some very high priorities. And so she was so excited, and she pounced on it like it was one big toy, and she started gnawing at it. And I used the E sound, short and direct. Eh, eh. I don't want to wake her up. Like, nah, nah, nah. That energy. And she instantly knew, oh, that wasn't okay. And she's adorable because she came and she sat beside me and laid down, and she was all bummed out. I was busy doing stuff, and I just let her play, and she normally responds, but I guess that was a very important cushion, so it was intense. And so she came and sat at my feet. But I didn't have to take anything away from her. I didn't have to, do anything, but I did notice that she needed encouragement to play afterwards. So whatever out in the wild or energetically in her biology has trained her that those short, intense, like alert sounds are not good. She has a little bit of a challenge picking herself up from. So this is the puppy learning. She's learning, oh, that wasn't good. I better tame her myself. And then, and by wasn't good is it's not desired, right? Because we want to protect our property. We want to have our pets to be able to be with us, and also we have a responsibility to them, and they have a responsibility to us to respect our property and their home, and we provide for them whatever they need emotionally, physiologically. At least that is how I understood having a pet was. And really, to me, it's just having a relationship where, to me, the pet isn't there for me, I'm there for them. And there's an exchange of good juju. And so that's why training for me is very important. But it's not training as in do what I want and be at my beck and call. For me, it's let's coexist in this space. And so I did the training with my doggy Tito in Dogs We Trust in London, Ontario, and it was so well done. And my doggy Tito is such a happy bear, or he was before I wasn't able to be with him anymore. I hope he still is. And because that wiring is in him, he has patience. Like if we can't play with him, he gets bummed out, but he's not grumpy or angry as long as he gets his exercise and his movement and he's acknowledged and present. He's such a fun energy to coexist with. Everybody loves my doggy Tito. I suppose he doesn't belong to me, but the Tito that I trained, and I've trained 2 Titos. So one as a teenager and one as a preteen, and then one as a adult. And yes, the memory was so beautiful. I used the name again because one was my mama's Tito and the other one was my Tito. So yeah, but I wanted a documentation note because I feel like connection, communication in unique, like in different languages, is a strength for me, translating and connecting. I've had this experience in technical training. I've had this experience in corporate where I have to translate things to stakeholders. And so I'm applying that transferable wisdom to my doggy training. And while this is a positive reinforcement training, I really want to anchor into the wisdom that's already within the beautiful little being that I get to share the experience with. And I do talk to my puppies the way I talk to children, from the standpoint of I expect them to be, to have the capacity to learn and to be and to integrate. And so I do use more than command words. Personally, I don't want to talk to my dog like I'm ordering someone about. I don't want to be aggressive. I want to be in my natural space and time continuum and feel happy and connected. And so this is why I train this way, because I don't want to be overbearing over a little being that hasn't learned the skills yet. I don't want to have to control. I want them to be with me. I want them to buy into the trust. So in Dogs We Trust, that can mean many things. In dogs that we can trust in, or we trust in dogs. And however you want to look at that, that's your personal perspective. So I'm looking at their training material and I'm adjusting it for where I am today and what I understand about our survival instincts, our somatic body, and understanding and comprehending that our connection to pets, man's best friend, as they say, is only if we are friendly back. That is how I interpret that. So if we respect and honor the wisdom, the biology, the nature that is our pets, our doggies, our birds, our wildlife, if we allow them to be wild within themselves and coexist with us, I believe that there is so much more joy, good juju, wonderful emotional fuel that can be extracted from the circumstance and not the being. Okay? So yeah, if you want to adopt Miss Queenie, she is available for adoption through Daisy's Place. Google. You will find it in St. Thomas, and you can submit your application. This is my philosophy. Everybody's a volunteer when they foster, so everyone has their own philosophy. But I wouldn't be attracted to this network, I don't believe, unless I found some energetic common ground. And so I'm trusting that, honoring the ease with which I felt the ability to connect and support, and how it's meeting me in my personal development time-space continuum. Okay, that's all for this morning. I wanted to say that because this is helping me heal some things, some wounds about how I approach my wisdom and my strengths and my transferable skills in different circumstances and situations. But yeah, in one day, we learned how to walk the neighborhood. Obviously, she's getting her shot soon, so we were very cautious about where we go. Like, we're not going to socialize her to everybody if she doesn't have connection with her home yet, because that will be confusing for her. She won't know where she is. We've given her some really confident, safe spaces for her, including her crate, through treating her exclusively in the crate yesterday. And she slept there. So I find crate work is really best done in little relays. So we go in and then we come out, and we show that there's good juju. I need to be able to put her in the crate when I need her to, so I don't have the luxury of training her for days and days and days to have a positive association. Like, I'm in an apartment, so I can't just put her outside if she needs to run around. I need her to be able to be in her space and be able to be in her good energy, in her calm, resourced self inside her crate, so that she can figure out, hey, I'm okay in here. I'm still safe. It's not what I want to do right now, but I'm still safe. And not as punishment, but as, you know, I get a call and I'm needed as a resource, and that time is not consistent. I might be needed for 2 hours. I might be needed for 3 hours. I might be needed for 1 hour. And so I need her to be able to have a safe space away from me. And last night, she was able to sleep in her crate. Yes, we came out a couple times. No, we only came out of the crate once last night. She only was in the crate once or twice away from me throughout the day, but I came back. And so it's that leaving and coming back, and then them feeling that they are solid and good. Also, the celebration of seeing her when she's out of there is tempered, because I don't want it to be this big emotional rise for her and then a fall. So it's like giving your brain too much dopamine, and then you expect that intensity of dopamine all the time. And so for me, it's about coming back and talking to her and letting her know she's okay. I tell her where I've been, what we're gonna do. Again, I feel like I want to talk to a real being. I want to feel connected to a real being in my life. So this is how I approach it, and I understand that she doesn't have the same context of data that I do, and therefore it's my responsibility to make the connection the most and to communicate. And if something's not working, I have to figure out another way to do it. Treats are only in the crate. I don't really like food training too much. I'd rather encourage. So I'm trying to walk away from the language that is morally heavy. So like good boy, good girl. Just because we I exist in multiple environments, and that's not, I don't want my son to act because he's good. I want him to choose things that are good for the environment and for himself, and to coexist. And so I don't want to have this groomer language in my everyday, and it's also a trigger point for me, so I don't prefer that, and I'm catching myself doing it with the puppy. But I want to live more truly, and while it's not a bad thing to say something's good, it's not the reference point that I want. I want effective. I want good from the standpoint of it contributes, it adds, and not from the moral standpoint of these people have decided this is good. And I also want puppy to be able to pivot in circumstances. I want them to learn about the behavior in general and not just about that circumstance and that situation. And so here are some questions. So it's in this particular page 5 of their manual from way back when. It was about teaching the dog how to focus and breaking down the training into various steps with a clicker, or a prompt of some kind, and then sequentially teaching them something. Now, in this case, where a puppy has been living in the wild, has been birthed in the wild, and we don't know what kind of environment they come from, I'm not one to teach compliance because there are survival mechanisms there that we have to honor. And so I'd rather observe. And so here are my own questions to break it down into pieces, and not so much steps to teach a behavior, but rather to teach circumstantial understanding and awareness. And I don't know if this is really possible with a dog from the secular standpoint, but I did watch a lot of About Bunny when I was on Instagram and observing their communication style and the tools and the resources and the connection. And to me, the only gap with a puppy, a doggy, a pet is the language barrier. And so energetically, if we can bring ourselves to focus, I don't think that it's as challenging to connect. I've even met a turtle that is affectionate, and it to me is fascinating because I never would have thought that. Obviously, because I'm not a turtle, I don't live in the wild, so I don't know. So we make a lot of assumptions, and I'm approaching this without assumptions, and I want to be the observer. So the behavior that I want from the doggy is the behavior that I better be prepared to act out as well. So how does the dog connect best is one of my questions. What do they focus on when their attention is being grabbed? And what is interesting to them? And then that's me in observation mode. And then in action observation mode, I ask myself, how do I help them observe and respond? So observing requires patience, a level of confidence that they can then action something that they want to action after having had space and time. And how do they integrate themselves into the space? Are they confident? Are they shy? Are they demanding? So all of those things. And then the respond piece is, are they engaged? Are they disengaged? Do they respect? Are they present, or are they playful? And so this is my observation here. Anyways, I am a nerd. I love all things behavioral, connection, communication, translation. So I am here. My entire job is to play and and observe this puppy and make sure her needs are met until she finds her home. Yeah, I have the luxury of doing that, so I get to help another family bring a family member into their home, and hopefully one that can be very confident. But I have limitations. Once puppy leaves my space, she's gonna have some skills, but it'll be up to her new family to respect her, basically. All right, I'm leaving this here, and I just want to put out there that pets are amazing energy to give to us, but it's time that we resource ourselves and actually dive into the power that is connecting with another species, another being, in connection, relationship, and challenge, and continuing to build that connection even through challenge, even when we're not getting the desired outcome right away, but with the confidence that we can connect eventually and get our message across. And that's where I find animals like doggies are so important, because they are a very connection pack based being, and they really want to get along. And it would be wonderful if we could learn from them in such a beautiful, magical way.